Welcome to Buckeyes Tomorrow Morning for Wednesday, February 7th. I'm your host, Tom Orr. The Akron game in 206 days, the game against Michigan in 297 days. We can add another countdown to this at the start of the show every day. 66 days till the Ohio State spring game. Ohio State made it official on Tuesday. The spring game is Saturday, April 13th. Tickets will go on sale Friday at 10 a.m. That spring game going to be one of the more anticipated spring games in Ohio State history. Not just because of all of the returning players, but maybe and especially because of some of the new players on the Ohio State roster. Today, you're going to be hearing from a couple of those new players, former Ohio University tight end Will Kaczmarek and former Ole Miss running back Quinshon Judkins. Let's start with Judkins. What put Ohio State at the top of his list when he entered the transfer portal?
Well, I think growing up, Ohio State isn't just a school you hear about at that certain moment, with all the accolades they've had, all the great players that have come through here. Some of my favorite running backs have played here. So, it's always a school you've looked at growing up. And I think just with me being in the portal, it was a great situation to be in.
There was some question when Judkins was in the portal whether he would be open to coming to Ohio State because Ohio State has a returning running back, TreVeyon Henderson, who is obviously going to be getting a fair number of carries this year as well. So what was the thought process that led him to being open to going somewhere that he might end up sharing carries?
Right. I think, just the idea of coming to a team where, you're playing for something that's bigger than yourself. A lot of great players have come here, as you've seen through the portal this year. So I think when you come together for a cause, it's bigger than yourself, you have great players around you and you want to win, and that's what it's all about.
What kind of conversations have those two guys, TreVeyon Henderson and Quinshon Judkins, had throughout this whole process?
Yeah, me and TreVeyon have always been close. We've always been close on social media before I even came here. So we've always been in contact, just supporting each other throughout our collegiate careers. And when I came here and decided to come here, I was very excited. So
Oxford, Mississippi, and Columbus, Ohio are two fairly different places. Football, a pretty significant piece of life in both of them, but some pretty different areas as well. So what are Quinshon Judkins' first impressions of Columbus?
It's very passionate. The fans here are very passionate. Everywhere you go, they have Ohio State on. They talk about the football team all day. They know everything. So I think the community here is very welcoming, very passionate fans, and everyone here is involved for sure.
Earlier, you heard a little bit about the decision that led him to Columbus, but what went into the decision for him to leave Ole Miss in the first place?
I've done some great things at Ole Miss. I've learned a lot. But I think just for me in my third year, you want to be somewhere like a place like Ohio State, like I said, with great culture, great teammates, great coaches, the best players, and the best fan base. So you want to win it.
Judkins was one of the more dynamic running backs in the SEC in the entire nation the last couple of years at Ole Miss. How would he describe his running style?
I think I run tough. I'm very elusive, fast. I have vision, patience. I can make people miss. I can run you over. I can catch. It's very different. So
there was a lot of excitement bordering on elation among Ohio State fans when Judkins announced that he was transferring to Ohio State. But what was the reaction he got from Ole Miss fans and other players and staff and all that down at Ole Miss when he announced he was going in the portal in the first place?
It was crazy. A lot of different things that were. A lot of different emotions, but it's business. It's a business, so you understand it. People won't always be happy for the decisions you make when it's best for yourself. But like I said, man, I'm just excited to be here and do what I can to win it all.
You may have heard that it just means more in the conference where Quinshon Judkins used to play, the SEC. What has he learned about the Big Ten and Big Ten country so far?
I did not know that it was this big of a factor. You always see it on TV when they play games on Saturdays, and it's big. It's a lot of fans, and like I say, everybody's passionate. But when you're here in it, it's a whole nother ball game. So, really excited.
Judkins spent the last couple of years playing in one of college football's notable regional rivalries, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, in the old Egg Bowl game. That's certainly one that is famous for certain moments in history. What has he learned so far about the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry? Has he had to study up on that at all?
Oh, it was big time. I've always heard a lot about it, but to be here and you see how big it is, they got the clock in there with the countdown is serious. So I'm excited to beat the team up north, and that's what we're working for.
The Buckeyes have added 3 different players who played it in the SEC last year, plus Julian Sayin, who was a transfer from Alabama but didn't play there last year. Judkins went up against Caleb Downs last year when Ole Miss played Alabama. So having played against Caleb Downs, what does he know about Caleb Downs' game? This is going to be 2 answers kind of butted together here.
Yeah, definitely a great player. Like I said, everyone who's come here, this portal class, great players from all around their different teams. And Caleb personally, he's done some great things at Alabama, and we're excited to have him. Right. I think when we played him, we had a different ball game plan. Like we were trying to throw the ball, and he's very successful there at stopping it. So that was pretty good.
So that will do it for Judkins. Now on to Will Kaczmarek. He is the tight end transfer from Ohio University. That is only about an hour and a half or so down the road from Ohio State, but kind of a world of difference when it comes to the level of football you're potentially playing. So could Kacmarek have possibly envisioned this when he started his career at Ohio, that it would end up here? And how quickly did he hear from Ohio State once he went into the transfer portal? Here's two answers kind of butted together again.
Not at all, no. It's been a long process for sure. I mean, I'm a person that likes to come every day and play my hardest. So I think that just building day by day through OU kind of led me to this opportunity and stuff like that. Oh, they were pretty quickly. A bunch of schools as soon as I entered. I was a little bit later in the portal, just a lot of family discussions and stuff like that. So as soon as I hit, had a lot of attention, and then I just connected really easily with all the coaches here, and I just knew this is my home. So,
just how big of a difference is it for being an Ohio Bobcat to an Ohio State Buckeye? Again, two answers here, back to back.
Honestly, it's not quite too different. I mean, obviously there's the facilities and stuff like that, but just player-wise, like all the players down there got along with each other. All of them get along up here, so it's pretty. It was a pretty easy transition just through the nature of the locker room. I just say that the resource-wise is a little bit of a jump. At first, it was pretty crazy, just because there's a lot more hype, a lot more fans, a lot more attention. But like I said earlier, it's not too much different in the locker room. Everyone's here just to play football, and we're all guys at the end of the day. So it was pretty smooth, and I'm comfortable now. So
this is always kind of an interesting question. You see guys go into the transfer portal, you see guys come out of the transfer portal, but what is it like to be in the transfer portal?
No, that time it was very stressful. I said earlier that as soon as I entered, it was just nonstop phone calls, and me and Key got along really easily, and I just loved the coaches here, and it was just one thing led to another, and I just knew this was home. Not too far from Ohio, so it was an easy move, and it's one of the best programs in the country, so I thought it was a no-brainer.
Kacmarek said that he really connected well with Keenan Bailey, so what was it that made him and the Ohio State tight ends coach connect so well?
No, I love how he's still my coach, but he's just another one of the guys. He's super personable. We could talk about different things. Nothing's too strict, too serious. It's just we're just chatting through techniques and stuff like that. It's just he makes it really fun and enjoyable to play the game. So.
The transfer portal move between Columbus and Athens has happened before. Last time it was in the opposite direction, when walk-on wide receiver Sam Wiglusz went from the Buckeyes to the Bobcats and turned into an all-MAC wide receiver. So what did Kacmarek hear from Wiglusz about his time at Ohio State?
I mean, not in the fact that me coming here, but he said he loved it here. And once I entered the portal, I definitely took note of all the good things he said about the program and stuff like that. And you can see the player he's become today. He was a baller at OU. The 2 years in a row, he was first team All-MAC, so you could just see how people could be developed here at Ohio State.
So you heard him there talking about how Wiglusz was developed at Ohio State. Well, okay. How did Kacmarek feel that he developed during his time at Ohio?
Yeah, so my freshman year, I was redshirted, and we had a really good defense at that time. And I was on scout team, and that's where every day I would put in the work and treat that like my game. So I feel like that's where I got acclimated to the college level. But then my sophomore year and this past junior year, redshirt sophomore year, is really where I made my impact on the field. And a lot of my coaches believed in me there, and I loved all those coaches down there. They're awesome people, great program, and they just put a lot of faith in me, and I gave faith back in them and just try to make plays. So.
Well, we will have more interviews with the Buckeyes coming up a little bit later on today. 9:30 a.m. on Wednesday, we're supposed to get a press conference with Ryan Day. We'll be talking today about coaching staff changes, new additions to the portal, some of the winter workouts, all that good stuff. Probably going to be a little Bill O'Brien talk there as well, I would guess. So going to be plenty of interesting stuff to talk to Ryan Day about. That'll be Wednesday morning, 9:30 a.m. We should be streaming that at youtube.com/Buckeye Huddle. So make sure you're subscribed there. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified when we go live. Watch the whole thing live. I'm going to guess we will probably have some kind of an instant reaction show there after the interviews as well from the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. That'll all be there at youtube.com/Buckeye Huddle. And of course, at BuckeyeHuddle.com as well. That's where Tony, Kevin, and I cover the team. Mark covers recruiting. We have our whole team of X's and O's gurus making you a smarter football fan, all at BuckeyeHuddle.com. That will do it for today. Thank you guys all for joining us. Have a great day. We will talk to you tomorrow.